Fourth part of Martinus on democracy and communism. Mankind's salvation is not a money problem, but a psyche problem. Is it not screaming wrong to maintain a state government where intellectual people, which in many respects already are geniuses, must be hunted around as a bunch of animals, as a bunch of sheep or geese, by a total prevailing slave controller, or a group of slave drivers who through their mental structure and way of behavior reveals themselves as intellectual or spiritual amateurs and not gifted creatures, which public in words and deeds reveal that they would rather live one day as lion than 100 days as lambs, has invariably and with firmness revealed themselves as mental non-gifted and fools on the level where we create humanity, culture, peace and happiness. Is it not a fact that such a character belong in the wild, the primitive, amongst the primitive, non-civilized scalp and head hunters, that the intellectual humanity has become entangled in certain cases to allow such head and scalp hunters, either as single dictators or as dictatorial forces, to deal with their lives, souls and spirit in a very high-handed way, had with certainty to lead to a culture devastating death era, just as the same humanity today in large areas sighs over, groans and moans under. Don't one think it is time to begin to appreciate the need to learn to know the life and nature of our thinking and our souls, learn to know the living human creatures' mental structure, learn, see how we must think, how to lead will, or learn to understand what the relationship between ourselves and other living creatures means. Need this death zone to become even more drastic or screaming? Have we not seen what has happened with the first forward-standing head and scalp hunter dictated countries? Should the otherwise sensible and in democracy advanced countries now go the same way, be fully enclosed in a ring of secret police, censorship and deprivation of liberty, concentration camps, gas chambers and slave labor for the benefit of an insane or sadistic head and scalp hunter mentality? Yes, do not the above mentioned countries already moans and groans suffering under that dictatorship's first preparatory work, its first fumes of freedom strangulation? What is restrictions, currency and product control, customs duties, walls and passports, visa, etc.? They are the reasons which were under the suit or mask of necessity and innocence everywhere now forces dictatorship forward in the people's consciousness, irrespective of what government you may have. It is the same restrictions which carries the superstition and overconfidence that the democratic form of government is now bankrupt, and that only dictatorship would be preferable. We think that only a strong man can remedy the situation, bring his nation on its feet, and give personal freedom and prosperity to all. And then we pay tribute to the strong man, and this will start not people's emancipation, but a very large-scale hunting of heads and scalps, a hunting of all and anyone who dares to have a different opinion or idea than that of the dictator. That the way now goes directly towards concentration camps, torture, slavery, invalidity, death and downfall of the state, the people and the dictator is only what has already been a fact for the world. Through all the totalitarian states, which today is only ruin, piling and mental chaos. And is it not exactly also a fact that the states which today is the most advanced in the totalitarian system is even more and more deeply ranging the loss of personal freedom areas than the countries or states that to some extent are still headed by undamaged or unadulterated democratic principles, although these principles is also in disintegration and decline. This in turn will say that there does not really exist any national government system which can save the planet. The world's salvation is not a question of national growth or power. It is not a product or money problem, but a psyche problem. All the world's states united into one government is the world's salvation. A total new system is therefore needed. This new system represents the content of the great wise one's consciousness, and it was the primarily destination of the world religion of Christianity. That is to say, humanity's appearance as one herd and one herdsman. This will again tell ditto that all the people of the world, all humans and all races, independent of their nationality, must associate and unite in one state with one government. Without that attitude by all the nations and the Commonwealth people, it will be impossible to create a lasting world peace. Time has come when mankind's materialistic knowledge and ability, their industrialization ability and the means of transport, all their total command of materia, there actually is of international format, can no more breathe inside the single nation or commonwealth. It can only live and breathe through internationalization, internationalism. Nationalism will be utterly and absolute choking dead for any people's knowledge and abilities. International format, but when the national states, every single one of them, puts up enormous blocking boundary protections, military bases, navy bases, with their all-destroying escalation of war material to protect its domain, then must development inevitably carry to splitting up, to the end of such internationalistic calcifications, isolated national states. And it is that splitting or removal of the national states that started in the shape of the First World War of 1914. And this process will not stop until there is no more exists isolated national states. The World War of 1914 is therefore not ended. It exists still exists, and it will continue its drastically blood-gripping doomsday movement across the earth, and will not stop until a world government based on 100% democratic principle of power has been formed. Within this world government or international law and court body, as it represents, there does not exist right of veto or secession opportunity for any nation state. Is a matter of this means, of course, not that the people's national characteristics and traditions, which does not damage or is in inhibition of other states' welfare, must be wiped. On the contrary, the world government is the only form under which these characteristics and traditions, as well as the individual citizen's personal freedom and prosperity, can be protected and preserved. This current world anarchy between states is mankind's true dreadful bore, and receives its full fuel and well-being through the nationalism or worship of one's own country, and the hereby resulting conduct of war and insulation policy, which all nation states of today regard as a life-determining ideal. That they thereby commits murder or destruction of their citizenship to the international world, and will, as they do, to the growth of their material knowledge and skills beyond national borders, and their hereby advanced international format, is a citizen of, are still outside a large public horizon. It cannot understand, therefore, that nationalism is collective self-interest, while internationalism is collective selflessly stated. Selfless. Internationalism represents the true Christian principle, and only through this collective unselfish principle, in the form of a world government or an international democratic law and justice system, will all the earth's human generations could become blessed. The science of spirit and world peace. Internationalism is mankind's absolute only way away from the dark and into the open, to culture, to freedom, to peace and happiness. And since spirit science is a science on people's internationalism, their mutual cosmic fraternity, a report on the future world state, or the structure of the world state, in short, is an information concerning all the aspects of the fate of all living beings, which neither the material science nor the church religion has been able to give people. It is here visible that mankind's true future success can only be based on a spiritual science. This in turn will say a science to reveal the life mystery and its laws, not in the shape of belief or faith dogma, but as coherent logical thoughts, which for intelligence makes all fraternity and brotherhood amongst nations, breeds and individuals visible as a life-determining necessity, obvious necessity. Man's acquisition of this understanding of life or the living being's cosmic analysis is the only way to complete the culture or that cultivation of the heart which allows the human beings to appear in God's image after his resemblance. And with a worldwide body of society consisting of such beings or selves is the promise of the Christmas message done and fulfilled. The lasting peace stands out and shines above the earth's continents and seas. And we say thank you for this long text, to very bad translated by me. I'm so sorry. It can be done better. by Martinus, and Martinus wrote this article in 1947, very actual today, I think. Article from the KOSMOS magazine. Copyright belongs to Martinus and the Martinus Ideal Fund. Translation by Henrik S. Holck. Thank you. Good night.